Okay, hopefully everybody's adjusted in and I'm well within view and we can start this video. Of course, my name is Kent. Channel is EOS San Diego, and we are developers on the EOS blockchain. Something I got to continue to remind myself, and something that my son had to remind me of today, that don't get too focused on price, because price isn't what EOS is ultimately about. EOS is a decentralized blockchain that's decentralized applications are being built on. So this is actually a paradigm shift in the way the internet is structured and will work in the future. Regardless of what the price is doing, things are being built every single day. Development is taking place and additional value is being added to the EOS blockchain. However, me being a trader and a former broker, I usually get all wrapped up in price. So I need to kind of get my mind off of price so much, because price isn't really the main factor. And let me remind everybody that when you buy everyday common stock, it's only a representation of the value of the company. It's not the actual value of the company. Stocks aren't the company. Stocks are actually just, common stocks are just ownership, but they're not actually, and they can trade up and down based on someone's opinion of the future or feeling that things aren't going as well, but it has no relationship to the actual value of the company. I mean, companies can be very, very, very valuable, but trade very low in price. And companies can be extremely, not have very much value at all and trade extremely high in price. And we see that all the time in tech. We see companies that don't make much money, that don't have any assets, but they trade with extreme values. And then we see other companies, like, and that's how a lot of people have gotten rich, for instance, Warren Buffett, by seeing companies with a lot of assets and a lot of value, but a low stock price. He's able to acquire these companies, value or a majority interest in those companies, and then he's able to sell the assets, get rid of the middle management, get rid of all of the extra, what would you say, the extra flab on the company, and then make a huge profit on it. So we should get our minds off of the fact that the price is the main thing, because it really isn't. And as my son said today, Dad, we're developers. We're building on the EOS blockchain, and we shouldn't always just be focused on price. And see, the really interesting part about it is he's more a developer, and of course I'm more of the person interested in trading. So I guess it's just a trader in me, but I got to get that out, because this is about value, and this is about where we're going, and this is actually about a brand new internet and a brand new way of doing things. And that should be exciting regardless of what the price of EOS is or where the price of EOS is going, because things are changing, and they're changing very quickly. And anybody involved at this level should be extremely excited, because you are involved with something, I think, that's changing the world, and is changing the world every day. And regardless of what's going on, we don't even know what's going on with development. The next Uber could be on EOS right now, we don't even know it, or getting ready to launch on EOS right now, and we don't even know it. So main focus should be on development, and that's what we're trying to do. The other thing I want to talk about a little bit tonight is I want to talk about a guy by the name of James, who put something on the challenge application. He put a quite lengthy post on the challenge application. I made a real quick post back, just wait till it's released. And then he wrote back and said this wasn't really the response that he was looking for. So I'm sorry about that. I'll try to give you a better response right now. Because what I'm saying is, hey, wait till this thing is released. I mean, we're so close to releasing it. Wait till it's released and you can actually see how it works and give it your critique then. But he's actually brought a very good point up, and I would like to discuss it. And the point that he's brought up is he wouldn't make an everyday challenge for a task. Like he wouldn't, like I said the other night, my son had made a challenge for me to come down and make this video. He said, if you go to a certain place at a certain time, then I'm gonna reward you for doing so. And I think, I said in the video 0.00 EOS, but it's actually 0.01 EOS, 0.01 EOS. I said 0.01 once, and I said 0.00 twice. I don't know what I was thinking of, but it's 0.01 EOS. And he just put the location, and then I came down, I accepted the challenge, and I got the EOS put into my wallet. So that was just a simple challenge. He said he would never do that. But he did say that he would compete. So in other words, challenge somebody in a competition kind of way. So let's say you got two friends, and you know, they have competition going between them, and maybe the first one, and we'll just use the gym because that's what we started out doing. The first one to go to the gym in 7 days wins the money or wins the tokens. That's competition, and people like competition. You know, my son loves competition. Everybody loves competition. Actually, that's kind of what the market's about, is competition. So competition could drive this use of this thing quite a bit. And I think he's got a real good point. Simply just saying, hey, do you want to do something and make it a reward for doing that? Or would you like to challenge somebody? And, you know, challenge them to be someplace or do something, or maybe a group of people to challenge something or do something, which put more interest in it, because now you've got that, you got that thing where people are actually involved with it emotionally, and they're involved with it. Well, let's see if I can beat the other guy. It's actually kind of a contest, so to speak, you know, where it's a person against person. So I think that makes it very, very interesting. I think a lot of time gaming is that way too. Just to go out and play a game isn't as fun as if you're playing against somebody else. So playing a game against somebody else in the world is a lot more fun than just kind of doing your own thing and playing your own game. So I think he has a very good point, and we're going to try to, you know, make that one of the ways this works, is that it's easy to create a competition between two people. So thanks, James, for that that post. I thought it was interesting. I made a quick response. I didn't really think about it that hard, because I was just saying, hey, this is so much different than what we had before. Please use it first before you say anything about it. But actually, the point he was trying to make is that he's more interested in the competition side of it, less interested than just making common tasks. So, and I think he's got a really good point. The other thing I want to talk about a little bit tonight is I want to talk about, I had someone come on Safeguard EOS tonight and said that they had entered a private key some time ago on the challenge application, and their permissions were changed. I wrote them back and said, we don't change permissions. And then I asked for their public key, and I looked at the public key. I went back on the Block Explorer, and I couldn't see any transactions with them. We don't do that, and neither should anybody else. Your permissions are very important, and usually you're asked. I think almost always. I could be wrong about this, but it's a Ricardian contract, and it's almost always you're asked if you want to change your permission, as what happened with the Telos scam. People were asked first. So if anybody ever asked you to change your permissions, then please don't do it. Don't ever do it. And I don't believe by just getting on a DApp or an application, you're going to get your permissions changed. So I hope the person figures out what really happened or what's going on with their account. But once again, our new DApp will not ask you for a private key. And we don't even want to see your private key. We have nothing to do with your private key. This is simply, you know, logging in with your password, creating a password, and using your phone number. And your private key is completely separate from this. It's running on a side chain, and it's your own private key. So that's something we don't even look at. We have no control over, and that's completely up to you. And it's independent. And this is, I think, we're one of the few applications running that way. This is a new way of doing it, and this is what we waited for. We wanted to be able to onboard a lot of people very quickly. We know that. Of course, with my daughter, she has an Instagram account with almost 1.3 million subscribers. And we're not going to get those people to just open an EOS account. We're not going to get those people to go on the blockchain, and we're not just going to do it. I mean, it's just simply too technical for them. We knew that. And so it's one of the reasons why we decided to wait to try to release this in a better form, because we needed a way to onboard people very, very easily just by saying, hey, it's a password, it's a phone number, and it's a username, and that's it. And that was the way we did it. So that's, and we're not asking for anybody's private key. So always be careful about that, because I covered that very extensively when the Telos scam was in play. And a lot of people lost EOS. Some people lost quite a bit of EOS. And I know you should be very careful about that. And my train is coming just on time. So please be aware of that. but you should never change your permission. And if quick train tonight, very quick train tonight. So anyway, this person was on Safeguard EOS tonight, talking to me about that. So, and we didn't change your permissions. Anything else I want to talk about tonight? I just want to talk about, we're very, very close with the challenge application. We used it again today, quite a bit. You can check us out on the Jungle Testnet, and we can. We'll probably be releasing it here very, very, very soon. You know, this is the issue, and I think the issue that's kind of hard to decide, and this is kind of where we're at right now, is that running on testnet and running on test flight on Apple isn't the same as running on mainnet. So sometimes if something isn't really working very well, you don't know if it's in the code or if it's actually just the Jungle Testnet or the test flight, because things don't run as smoothly on those two platforms. So yeah, we're sitting there balancing whether, hey, is this something wrong, the actual application, some little glitch, or is this something that that will just straighten itself out on mainnet? So that's where we're at right now. Basically got it all fixed, ready to go. We're just deciding to make sure everything works. And it may be that when we launch it, there will be a few things that don't work perfectly, but we'll have to fix it and keep it going. So this is an ongoing process. Of course, this is development. Nothing gets, nothing gets rolled out and works 100% every single time. That's just part of the game, and that's just the way it works. So we will be releasing it right now. We are in that period of time of just making sure every little thing works well, because there's a lot of things to, different places, different locations, and just making sure it works well. Because the last thing you want is somebody to have a bad user experience, especially right from the get-go. So anyway, we'll be talking with you tomorrow. Again, I appreciate you watching. Thank you.